I get on a phone call with Bees, and he was like, all right, well, you get your flight out here. We're going to bring you out for 2 weeks, see if it works. And I was like, no, Bees, this will work. Like, you don't understand. This has to work for me.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it, and I'm going to like it, and it will work.
Welcome back to another episode of The Zone Presents. We have a guest all the way hailing here from New Mexico, Miss Dani Ross. What's up, Dani?
What's up?
Welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a long time coming, girl.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to have you. So tell me how you heard about Lumio and tell me the significance of sports and this job.
Yeah, so I didn't have any sales experience. No door-to-door. I wasn't planning on being a salesman. I don't think anybody plans on it.
Especially not door-to-door.
No. So I'm from New Mexico.
Okay.
I happened to get a scholarship to play basketball in Utah. So I was out there. Cam Burtok, everybody knows Cam.
Shout out Cam.
Yeah, shout out Cam. He was playing football at the time, and so we were talking a little bit, and he was like, do you want to come out and sell pest control?
Okay.
It's like, bugs? No. I'm just kidding. So,
sounds like fun, right?
Yeah, perfect career choice. But I originally told him no.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to go sell out in Boston, and that didn't come to fruition. And so I followed him on Instagram, and I was following what he was doing, and I happened to be home for the summer. Well, a month before I had to go back to school, my car got totaled.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't going to be able to get a new car on a Lowe's paycheck. And so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Cam, what are you doing? Like, what is it, right? And I figured out that he was selling solar now instead of bugs. I was like, okay, dude, I'll give it a shot.
So this was, what, just last summer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you totaled your car,
Mhm.
working out Lowe's salary while going to school.
Yes, sir.
Good way to hustle. Good job.
Yeah.
You see Cam's doing really, really well and it intrigued you.
Yeah.
And then a life event happens and it makes you have to make a decision.
Right. So he puts me in a group chat with Kellen and Bees, and I get on a phone call with Bees, and he was like, all right, well, you get your flight out here. We're going to bring you out for 2 weeks, see if it works. And I was like, no, Bees, this will work. Like, you don't understand. This has to work for me.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it, and I'm going to like it, and it will work. And he was like, whoa, okay.
So you were already manifesting
All right.
what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But I think
it had to. I didn't
had
have an
to.
option.
But why? Why more importantly? I mean, I know a car was totaled, but you just mentioned this to me a little while ago, like, you had no choice. No money.
Not at all. I mean, I had just paid the deductible or whatever to get my car fixed. It was totaled, and I paid my insurance off, and that left me with $7 in my bank account.
Oh.
And there was, back against the wall, 100%.
I love that. I think that's a true testament of why, people succeed is when they do have their back against the wall, but sometimes people can kind of, unfortunately fade when that happens.
Right.
Especially with this kind of job, right?
Yeah.
So you make the flight, you come out here,
Yeah.
college athlete and all.
Yes, sir. My story's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I didn't have the struggle story and then turned into to success. It was kind of backwards.
Yeah. It's similar to me, actually. But the point is, going in and humbling yourself after making this big change, and moving your whole life again, right? Like, what kind of emotions and thoughts were going through your head?
Honestly, it was just, I will make this work.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Just manifest the truth and the reality it's
Manifesting
going to
it
work.
100%. Like, this will work for me. I don't have an option. If I'm taking the risk and going out to Florida, I will get something out of it.
Nice. So then you come out here, and
Yes,
what
sir.
was it like when you first started?
I knocked for one day with Leslie Torres. Shout out Leslie.
Shout out Leslie.
She taught me everything I know for one day, and then I went out there my second day, and the rest is history. I got 6 that week.
6 in your first week. It's great because a lot of times we hear people come out here and they struggle, right? And I think what I really want you to kind of talk a little more about is, like, not only did you manifest this, you were thinking there was no other option for failure, but, like, what kind of things were you doing outside of work to make sure that you hit this?
I've had my schedule set for me my whole life. I've been in basketball, that's all I know, and so you'd wake up and practice was not an option, right? You didn't have an option whether or not you wanted to go to practice. You better have a bone sticking out of your arm or, you're off the team.
Yeah.
Like, there's not an option, so I kind of just viewed this job as the same way. I'm going out to practice every day. Whether or not I get anything or not, every day's a learning day. And so it kind of translated, I feel like.
Well, and being a college athlete, I think, me as well, I think I hated sports in college because it was more of a job than I thought it would be. In the past, it was just fun.
Yeah.
But what it does do, and you're nailing it here, is it humbled you to stay strict to a schedule.
Right.
and stay focused on what you need to do. So during this time where you come out and you actually start killing off the gates, what were you reading? Was there anything that you remember that you were reading at the time that was really helping you push yourself? Or was there anything you were watching on YouTube or stuff that was making you like really push yourself?
So I was reading a book with my basketball team actually, and it was called Relentless. I believe it's by Tim Grover.
Okay.
But it was just, I mean, his mindset was amazing, and it's just, he was basically saying that you can manifest anything you want, like you said, and if you put in the hours, you put in the work, you put in the extra effort, you're going to reap the benefits regardless.
So true.
And
so you had this like aha moment when obviously you're having success here, but like, what did you tell your family when this was happening?
they didn't know.
They didn't know this was going on.
They didn't know. I didn't really tell them anything. I didn't want to set an expectation and then not hit my goal, or I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was going to come out here and do. I just knew I had to make something happen or I wasn't going to eat.
Yeah.
Right? $7 in my bank account.
What can you do with $7?
I was banking on Taco Tuesdays, like, so I had to make my first paycheck and I had to make it happen, but I didn't really tell anybody.
Oh, that's excellent. I think that's great. And so being a woman and being on the doors, I know it can be kind of intimidating for some people and for most anyone. I mean, women, male or female. But what has really like helped you get past that fear?
Well, being a woman in a male-dominated industry, it can go one of two ways, right? You can either take the bull by the horns and take it for what it is and walk in like you own the place, right? Have confidence, or you can take the other route and give up and be intimidated and let that dwindle your success. And so I feel like confidence is key, and even if you don't know what you're doing, fake it till you make it, right? And you'll eventually figure it out.
The concept works every once in a while, right? So how has your experience been like now that you're on the doors, feeling comfortable? Like, what has really been like a transition for you in knowing that you're doing well and then taking the next step, which is obviously self-gen and closing?
Yeah, so it's just riding the momentum. Obviously, you can do it, and you're going to ride the roller coaster, and you're going to have your off days, but what keeps you going is knowing your why and knowing what you're striving for. And I feel like without that, you wouldn't be able to get anywhere.
So is your why like anywhere that you see it, or your visual why, or do you write it down? How do you like manifest that so that you still keep going every single day?
Yeah, so I have my routine. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll work out, and I'll do my habit stacking where I listen to my podcast while I work out, because I'm not going to have time to do that throughout my day. And then I'll journal after my takeaways from my podcast, or my goals, or what I want, what I'm manifesting. And so
talk about the stacking habits. I like this. You went over this before, and I think it's really important because you taught me something. So kind of talk about that if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. So we only have so much time in a day, right? You do things every day regardless. You wake up and you brush your teeth. I hope you do.
Oh, yeah. Twice a day.
You take a shower. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
One of mine happens to be going to the gym, right? I played basketball for forever, and so that transition was hard. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. Like, am I making the right decision? Where do I go from here? And so I kind of just put that same energy, that same schedule into the one that I have now, and that's going to the gym. But I feel like I was putting too much on my plate. What do I do? Like, I have all these things to accomplish, and how am I going to get there?
It's that overwhelming feeling of like having too much and then not getting it done, and feeling that resentment of not getting something accomplished.
Right. And so I listened to a podcast. I don't remember who it was, but they had mentioned habit stacking.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I'm going to say a prayer before I brush my teeth, and that's when I'm going to get that prayer in. Or instead of listening to music at the gym, I'm going to listen to a podcast and work out my brain while I'm working out the rest of my body.
I love that. That's really cool. I could do better than that too, because you'll see me on the road and I'll be like fist pumping and excited about something.
No, that still happens.
And then John calls me, he's like, "What podcast you listen to?" And I'm like, "Dude, I gotta listen to it." So it's important to keep putting good stuff in there. Right. As much as I love, being at the gym and yelling at the weights because my music gets me excited, it's always good to work that brain out too.
All right.
Now you went from setter to self-gen in 4 months. So huge accomplishment there. Most people, it takes a little bit longer to do that. How is it going for you so far?
It's going good.
Yeah.
It's new, but growth is exciting.
So those habits that you were talking about before, have they shifted? Your schedule shifted at all because you're in a different role, or what has really changed?
Habits, no, not so much, but scheduling, yeah. So you'll take your. Stephen Lavelle actually gave me the schedule.
The wizard.
Yes, the wizard. We love him, but I mean, you knock Monday and Wednesday and Friday, I believe, and then you take your 2 days and stack your schedule from there. And it's helped.
I think it helps with balance. And I think a lot of younger folks struggle with this. I shouldn't even say younger, it's everyone. I mean, we struggle with the amount of stuff that gets piled on our plate in the course of the day, and then we're not sure which ones are important. And then, then we find out there are some super, super important things to take care of, and then we don't finish them.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about you, how you accomplished it, finished it, and went to the next task. I think it's hard for people to do that, So are there any books in particular that you think would help people with this? I know you said you listen to a podcast tell you about habit stacking, but is there anybody in particular that you think people should listen to or people should read?
Ed Milet is a huge influence in my life right now. I don't know if it's just because I'm listening to a 75 Hard podcast or if he makes me feel so horrible about myself but so good to where I make something happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's huge.
So in 4 months, you went from setting to self-gen, which is super fast track, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But was it easy?
Nothing is ever easy or handed to you, right? I mean, we all go through trials and tribulations, and I've had times where I'm sitting on the curb crying, like talking to my mom, do I go home? And
yeah.
I mean, people back home are like, yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing at this job? You need to have something stable. My plans were not this job at first. I was playing basketball. I have my associates in biology. I either wanted to go medical or dental from there, but I couldn't pass up this wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
And so when I have those doubts or I'm sitting on the curb crying and I don't want to do it anymore, you have to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And so you see the people in the office that are doing good or that are struggling, and you somehow want to help them or be an example for them and say, okay, where you are right now is exactly where you need to be, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what emotions you're feeling, or if you just focus on your why and zone in on your why and think about all the people that you can help if you just change your life, or one more door mentality, like you don't know who you're going to run into. I've had times where I'm sitting on the curb crying and the next door is a set or the next door is a sale. So
I think you're not the only person that goes through that. Just so you know, I think a lot of times it takes a strong person to actually say it, right? I've been there. We've all been there. You are not successful in this job if you're not on the corner of the street crying once in a while, right? It's just but here's the difference. That's where the beauty happens. That's where the real person comes out.
Yeah.
Because in times of endearment and struggle, and you push through, that's where the results happen, right? And obviously you're having those results, and now you're in a self-gen role. You're going through different struggles, so to speak. What has been the biggest challenge now in this role?
Well, I mean, you're sitting down with the family, and they're making a great investment for their future, and so you want to make it perfect for them. There's a lot of moving parts, and you want to make sure it's as seamless as possible, so when there are hiccups or there are mess-ups, you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to screw this family over, or what's going to happen? And so, I mean, it can get stressful, for sure.
Especially if the tech kind of falters in the middle of it, or a bubble doesn't fill.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to under-deliver, right? When you're promising to over-deliver, so.
So let me ask you this. What's more nerve-wracking? A free throw with everyone looking at you in the last second of the game, you got to hit both of them? Or in a close where the family is breathing on your neck?
Free throws are going in.
Regardless. I love it. Well, I think you guys can hear that Dani's super confident. She's had a lot of success, but I think it comes with the failures that you've gone through and how you push yourself through them.
Yes, sir.
But I think it's super important, and I think it's great that you're able to share that to us, and you've had such success, and you're making those boys look like they can't handle it. So keep it up, girl. We love having it.
Thank you.
Dani Ross, everyone.